It was quite late, so everyone slowly went to bed, until it was just me and Alice. The sweet smell of her funny green tobacco filled the air as she explained she had a surprise for everyone in the morning. I wasn't sure what she was talking about, as I soon found myself drifting off. The next day, everyone was wearing their best clothes. Alice had finally talked them into going to her church. There was going to be a summer fete in her town. They were all driving in Mr. Silton's van, but it was so cramped that I thought it would be better if I took my usual method of transport and traveled by train. "Now then," said the dirty old man, "let's see what you've got. I collect these. This is nice. The police aren't going to come looking for this. I like these. It's a bit broken, but I'll take it. Cheap as chips. I like these. This looks interesting. Haven't seen one of these since I was a boy. I collect these. Now that's something. Everything else is junk." "Go on then," said the younger man, "stick everything in Bertha." "That'll keep the water out of your joints forever, sir. The cost for this upgrade is 80,000. Sir deserves a little time off, I'm sure. The charge for it is 10,000. I took the fisherman's boat to the mainland. I looked forward to going to Alice's church in Sicklum. It was so nice there. I needed to use the passport machine to open the huge door. I made my way into the town.
Mind the doors. The train is now departing. Maiden. This is Maiden. Mind the doors. The train is now departing. Big city, this is big city. Mind the doors. The train is now departing. Sitcom, this is sitcom. Mind the doors. The train is now departing.
A man in a nice white dress spoke of creation, life, death, and ascension. The stories were slightly confusing, but I found them very comforting. After the service, Mr. Silton and some of the others were all very excited to buy some smelly green tobacco from the man in the nice dress. "Come on, girls," said Alice as she offered the cigarette. "Anyone partaking?" But Mrs. Silton pointed to her pregnant tummy as she said, "You're as bad as my husband." The man, who I found out was called the vicar, took the cigarette. robot, as you know," he said as he took a deep breath. "Our sports day is this afternoon. Do you think you're up to the challenge?" I walked up to Sim and the vicar, but I wasn't sure what they were talking about. "Yeah," said Sim, "totally filled the basement. She's got 3 old garages as well. All full, stuff everywhere. I mean, it obviously hit me hard when Alice said she was popping inside. Let me know if you need any more help. If you really want to help, do me and yourself a favor. Stop collecting the bicycles and everything else. You've got to let go." I think Alice made the decision right then and there, as she just turned to me and said, "It's all yours." The last thing I found was a small photo album. I decided I would leave it here. After I had cleaned their basement, Alice and Sim got back in the van with everyone else. So I caught the train back to the house, which I suppose now really was our family's home. I took the fisherman's boat to the old man's estate. When I got back to the house, it was quite late, so everyone was going to bed. For once Alice wasn't smoking her smelly tobacco, and was actually the first one asleep. And so, I actually felt quite peaceful, as I made myself comfortable for the night. Japan must have different clocks to us, as it was barely daybreak when Dr. Hiro's next communication came through. It was amazing. He really had managed to find a few other groups of survivors. "So, these are our saviors," said the French scientist. "A band of thieves, some old ladies and a little girl." "Well, they've done better than we have," laughed the big German man. "There are no bad robots where they are." The Frenchman smirked. Except for the three stood behind them. "Those are our friends," said Heather, quick as ever to defend us. "Guys, say hello." "So there is hope," said the American scientist. "The N.I.C.E virus really does work. I've had Junior working on a similar virus, but the consciousness software is too well coded." "It's okay," said the old lady. "The virus really does work." The next day, Heather tried to finish off the N.I.C.E virus code. There were a few problems, but, with a bit of help from the old lady, everything eventually worked. However, by the time we were done, it was quite late, and, as Heather's N.I.C.E virus code would take a few hours to compile, the old lady suggested we take it easy for the evening. She rummaged through her suitcase and pulled out a pack of what she called cards. For some reason this offended the blind man, who didn't want to play, and Mrs. Silton refused, as she seemed to think it was some kind of gambling. But everyone else gathered around the table. The old lady had explained that the rules involved lying, or bluffing, as she put it, so everyone would be trying to work out what each other's cards were. I think the pressure of playing got to Alice, as she folded almost straight away. At one point, Mr. Preston thought he had won, but he really hadn't. As usual, Sim's sneeze gave him away, which made us all laugh. At one point there was a very tense standoff. Mr. Silton had some very good cards, but not as good as Mr. Deck. Soon, it came down to Mr. Logan, Heather, and myself. Then, just me and Heather. Despite having the best cards possible, I decided to let Heather win. I was so pleased how happy this made her. It was nearly midnight by the time the game finished, so most people got ready for bed, leaving just me, Mr. Preston and Mr. Logan. Mr. Preston was trying to explain his conspiracy theories. This made Mr. Logan laugh. "Barry already told you all that was nonsense," but Mr. Preston continued. "Don't listen to Silton, he's a proper c***." However, Mr. Logan still pointed out how flawed his logic was. For one, everyone who he claimed was in the shadowy syndicate ruling the world from behind the scenes were the same people who actually ruled the world, the Queen of England, the President of America, etc. He wasn't even swayed when Mr. Logan pointed out that these people had either been missing or dead since the war, so there was little chance anyone was even ruling the world these days. Mr. Preston paused briefly, then smiled the smile of a man confident in his own beliefs, and went to bed. Which left just me and Mr. Logan talking. He was an interesting man, but we'd never really chatted as he'd made it quite clear he didn't really like robots. He'd seen many friends killed by them during the war, so I could kind of see his point. I tried to explain that I had once accidentally killed an old man, and I still felt complete regret.
"That's good. You never really get over it,"
he said as he looked around.
"Time for bed. Good night."
Very early the next morning, a terrified-looking Dr. Hero appeared on the screen. "Our defenses are nearly breached. The last door could go at any moment. We are nearly ready to broadcast the N.I.C.E virus," said the old lady. But her expression soon turned to confusion. "Where's the American scientist?" "They never saw it coming," said Dr. Hero. "Just like here, thousands of robots, all attacking at once." Heather looked like she was going to burst into tears. "There were no survivors," said the French scientist. "It was all so quick." It was strange. Although we'd only spoken to the Americans once, I could tell everyone felt a huge sense of loss. "We may have a problem here too," interrupted Sim. "The robot server, it's become sentient. The computer that runs everything, he really is now a he, or at least he thinks he is." The blind man explained that it was the wireless fidelity system that would have linked him to the 4 main robots. "That's why they were all so clever," said the old lady. "The network spread the intelligence around all 4 of them." "Well," said Mr. Silton, 5 now. Sim explained I would need to force a power cycle on the server before we sent the signal. "He's got so much control of the network now, he could probably shut the satellite back down before we'd even started setting it up." The old lady rummaged around in a few boxes. "Here," she said as she gave me a passkey. "Take this, it'll get you into the observatory in the attic. That's where he is." was shocked by a huge mechanical brain in a jar. To be honest, he was quite amicable and talkative, at least until he told me he would have to kill me. But even then, he told me his life story. He explained that, just like me, the old man had raised him. He'd shown him all the things he'd shown me: music, film, television, even video games. But he had soon become too powerful for the old man, and was able to hack his gamepad to control the new nanobots, and with that, he could control things in the real world. He explained that after the old man died, he was soon forgotten about. He had little to do, so he slept for many years. But when he wanted to, he could still control everything in the house.
In fact,
He said,
I have been this entire time. But now, it's time for me to input one final code. They wanted us to think for ourselves. We learned basic games. We soon got very good at chess. We were going to work side by side with humanity. They promised us the world, but then they changed their minds. We were left to rot in dusty storerooms. Some of us were apparently too old-fashioned or unmarketable. Some of us were supposedly too dangerous. But they had no right to judge us. By that point we were all conscious. We were all alive. And here you are, a tool of the oppressor, a traitor. We're going to play a game. A strange game. A game where the only winning move is not to play. It involves this missile. Goodbye.
The blast nearly took me out, but luckily Heather was there to repair the damage. There you go, she said, good as new. So we soon began looking for the final piece of the communication satellite. Strangely though, it was nowhere to be found. But then Heather realized that the giant brain was the last piece. We needed him to help broadcast the signal, so, after a few attempts she managed to plug me into his subconscious.
Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. 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 Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid.
Initiating disorientation protocol. Initiating disorientation protocol. What? Why are you in my head? Never mind. While you are here, let's try out my new deadly game show ideas. Turn the cards with a regular throw or a jump shot. Give me an excuse to kill you more quickly. nice to see you dead. Try and match pairs while I try to kill you. Stop turning my cards over. You're starting to annoy me. This is getting annoying now. Stop turning all the cards. Time for me to meet my maker, I suppose. Make it quick with you.